Hi, it's me again with Corel Tips and Tricks. Somebody sent me somebody else's video. It's just a Corel short, which I still don't understand. No speaking, and the guy doesn't give, and he does a good job. And I actually found an error in his drawing. Some of the things aren't very tight. Well, I've got some other lines going on here. I didn't remove some of my lines. If we put the lines back, and then we could delete the lines. And one more, well, regardless of that, how he started off and how I'm going to do it is I'm going to make a 12-inch circle, and then I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate, and I'm going to make a 2-inch circle. See, they're both in the center of the page. I'm going to grab them both. I'm going to go to Effects and Blend 10 times, and we get that shape. But I need to ungroup them, break blend apart, and I'm going to make a duplicate of that 12-inch circle. I'm going to move it out of the way. I'm going to bring in some lines. Really, you could probably use guidelines or indexing lines. And I'm going to hit P, put it in the center of the page. And evidently, I didn't put my circle in the center of the page. But that's fine. I can put it there now. Because these are all circles, even though they're not grouped, I can hit P, put them. Now, this is where he just threw this up here, and it worked. And because it's a circle, this will work. If we take that circle, and we grab it from like anywhere and put it right there in that center, and then when we double click on the rotation and we put it in that center, then we would be able to rotate this to that other line's edge, if you understand. So you can always do it closer up and just get it right on that line. Somehow he just threw it up there. I don't know how he did it. I'm going to hit the plus key again, and I'm going to grab this one. I'm going to put it right there. Then double click on the rotation and move it to there. And then move this rotation to where it gets to that line. See, a lot of times if you don't grab the out handle, but then when you get closer, you can do it. And that's pretty close. We grab it again, just double click on it, and then when you have that rotation, just move it down. So then what I would do is I'm going to set my nudge factor on, like, see how big this thing is, 25 inches. Because I want a copy of that. For more than one reason, I'm going to make 2 copies. Now, if you take this line and delete it, and take, here's a good little trick. If we need to cut this line here, and if we cut it here, we'd have to cut all these lines. You can do this. I'm going to nudge out of the way. I'm going to go up to Object and break the curve apart. And then by doing that, I can grab that interior line and then nudge this back, and it cut all those cuts out. That's a pretty big deal. I'm going to go ahead and, I don't think we need that line. And I think we're good to go. So here's what he did, and I'm going to do a little bit differently. First of all, I'm going to group this together, Control G. And I'm going to take the Smart Fill tool. I'm going to start on the outside and work inward. And then I'm going to do these right here. Whoop. Every other one. Now, because we have grouped that together, I can grab these black lines and Control D and make a duplicate. Or I should have made a Control G to group them, I meant to say. And then we're gonna put this right on that other edge. Now, he rotated it, and he was a little bit off in his rotation, and he doesn't tell you how far it rotated. I had to play around with this quite a bit. So I'm going to delete these lines now. I don't know why sometimes my delete key, it must be my old laptop's computer. Now, these are still grouped together, so we're going to move these out of the way for a second. And we actually need them all. And I'm going to go ahead and group them together. Now, we can actually move that over and group it. I missed that one. Now we're going to group all this together, Control G. But we're going to rotate it from that tip. Let's see how close we are. We're right on. Now I'm going to rotate it 60 degrees. I'm going to move it by hand. And to make that match there, see we're at 300. I didn't make a copy. Let me back up. So let me Control D and make a duplicate and rotate it to 300 degrees. So what happens, these lines are perfect, or pretty close to perfect, but these aren't. So what I'm going to do now is take my guideline or my reference lines back, and I'm going to smart fill every other spot again. That's completing my circle. Now, I do not need this one anymore, and I do not need these anymore, and I'm going to group this together. And then double click and move it to your rotation and rotate it. We'll go the other way. We'll go 60 degrees. Oh, I didn't make a duplicate. So I'm going to go back to 0. Control D, Control D, Control D, Control D. And there you have it. That way your lines meet. His lines didn't really meet. That is a pretty cool design. He did a good job. I'm not, he's the one with the idea. But that's a pretty cool design. Hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.